food as medicine versus food as emotions. This series, the next 4 episodes, are about environmental detoxing. Yesterday we talked about our environment. Today we're talking about what we put on the inside: food and drinks and beverages and snacks. I love them all. Sometimes you and I are not hungry. Sometimes we're just overstimulated. Sometimes we're not craving sugar or salt. We're actually craving comfort and safety and feeling secure and stable. And sometimes we're not off track. We're just overwhelmed and steeped in chaos. And food is not the villain. But let's share what the villain is: unprocessed emotions. That's definitely the villain. Unprocessed trauma, unprocessed conversations, unprocessed being passive aggressive. So today we're also talking about relationships and our relationship with food. Because food ultimately is medicine, but food is also emotion. And how do we tell the difference between the two? That's what we're going to be sharing today. Hey y'all, I'm Madison Samone Chase, also known as Miss Chase. I was raised by an incredible single mom who is my biggest fan and my BFF, my best friend forever. I am also a celebrity certified personal trainer, fitness and wellness expert, and sports and entertainment media host. I was born in Fort Worth, Texas, raised in Dallas, built in Los Angeles. I have the privilege and honor, thanks to my mom, to train at Juilliard with School of American Ballet, becoming the world's only 3-time ESPN Miss Fitness champion, appearing in more than 450 fitness DVDs. And the first of the 450 fitness DVDs was led by the GOAT celebrity trainer Gunnar Peterson, who's known for training the Kardashian family. As a celebrity personal trainer myself, some of my most notable clients include Robert Pattinson of Twilight and Batman, the very funny Chris Tucker of Rush Hour, and the very talented Amber Riley of Glee. As a sports and entertainment media host, some of my favorite red carpet moments include chatting with Richard Branson, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, Emma Stone, Viola Davis, Tyler Perry, Justin Baldoni, Issa Rae, and Tiana Taylor, to name a few. I share my accomplishments not out of ego, but to honor the sacrifices my mom planted so that I could blossom and flourish into the woman I am still becoming. So if you are listening and or watching, pull up a digital chair, grab yourself a cup of hot or cold herbal tea, and welcome to my home of Cut to the Chase at 8, a 15-minute micro learning moment for macro living. And I am so overjoyed that you are here, because this is where we explore and lean into life with our lived experiences, yours and mine, where we invite lots of grace in this place and space because we're living in some really interesting times. We chat all about spirit, mind, and body health because that is ultimately our wealth, in microdoses for macro living. So make sure you join me just twice daily. That's it, for 15 minutes at 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. Because this is your 15-minute chance for your daily pause for a cause, clarity, wellness, and grace in this space, and intentional decision making, because how we start our day and how we end it matters. Each episode, my offer to you is 3 keys and 1 question to sit with, and hopefully encourage you to give yourself, again, grace in this space. Something practical, something grounded, and something you can carry with you. So wherever you're listening from, I want you to turn it up and tune in. And if anything you hear today pricks your heart or lights a spark, I'd love for you to subscribe and share this with someone you care about. And please leave a comment so that this becomes a dialogue and not just a monologue. And if you feel led, please leave a 5-star rating. Now, let's start by taking a breath together. We're going to inhale for 3, 2, 1. Exhale for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's lean into today's episode of Cut to the Chase at 8. Let's cut the noise, let's get clear, and let's get ready, set to grow and go and be great. The title again for today's episode is Food as Medicine versus Food as Emotion. Now, I'm sure that probably brings up a lot of stuff for you if you're listening and paying attention, because food is something that we often talk about, but I don't know if we look at it from the perspective of what it really means and how we could actually lean into something different in terms of shifting what we believe food is. So let's name this up front. This is not about a diet episode. This is not about taking GLP-1s. This is not about, oh, you should be perfect episode. This is not about shaming anyone, because I think we all struggle with processing our emotions and processing how we relate to food. And this is a detox episode, because in season 2, we're not just detoxing food in our environment, in our digital environments, in the people and places and things, our PPT audit. We are also detoxing patterns. We're also detoxing how we cope and how that shows up in our conversations, in our relationships, whether it's personal or romantic or friends. We're also detoxing our nervous system. And for a lot of us, food is where our emotions go when we don't know where else to put them. Because it's easy. Like, food is not going to tell you no. You know you could get to it. You know you could get any kind of food that you're interested in. And there is such a thing as comfort food, and they call it comfort food for a reason. And so today we're going to do an audit without judgment. Without judging yourself, without judging how you have typically functioned. This is a reset. Because the question is, what were you taught about food growing up? I know for me, I'm so thankful I never had a mother who forced me to eat when I wasn't hungry. Like, I know there's been conversations where growing up, I didn't like a lot of things, and it wasn't until I was introduced into classical ballet and I was introduced to little girls who like different things. Like, I think growing up, people who know me well know that I only ate 2 things growing up. I ate pancakes. I used to call them pancakes, and then I would eat uh, hamburgers with only mustard and pickles. That's it. And my mom never forced me to eat anything outside of that. Now, was I super thin? Yes. But she also didn't want to force me to eat. And I'm so thankful that she had that wisdom, that she didn't force me to. And so when we think about clean eating, sometimes that can become an identity for some people. And even putting labels on, oh, I'm plant-based, like that can become your identity. But I know that food and the type of food and how it's processed, and even fruits and vegetables, like a lot of that stuff is drastically changing. And so sometimes food becomes how we control what is going on when our life feels uncontrollable. So let's go and discover part 1, food as medicine. And food is also chemistry. And food is also information. And food is also feedback. And what we eat influences our inflammation, our blood sugar, our energy, our mood, our hormones, our sleep, our focus, our hydration. That's a big one. Hydration, like oftentimes we hear, oh, you need to drink X amount of glasses of water, but hydration can come also from fruits and vegetables that are non-chemical, non-GMO related. And here's the truth. If our bodies are inflamed, our emotions are louder. If our blood sugar is swinging, our patience is shorter. If we're underfueled, everything feels harder. So, yeah, this isn't like a woo woo, this is what it is, or this is hocus pocus. This is not that. This is just wisdom. Because food is medicine looks like asking, what supports my body today? And so there's this quote that I like. It said, food can be either the slowest poison, or it could be the thing that actually heals your body. And so you want to know what supports your body. And then sometimes we're not even listening, because different seasons of your life, and then actual seasons of the climate that you're in, and then eating food that is actually seasonal to wherever you live. But that's the interesting thing about food and the way that it's processed. Like, most food is not seasonal anymore, unless you're getting your food from a farmer's market or a local farmer's market where you know for sure that they are growing the fruit that is available, the fruit and vegetables that is seasonal in that particular region. And different seasons actually need different fuel, because in the wintertime, your body needs something different than in the summertime. So, what worked for you, again, when you were 25 might not work for you when you're 45 or 55 or 65. And what worked for you when you had peace might not work for you when you're under pressure. And sometimes a time when you ate healthy, but you still felt off. And sometimes you could eat healthy things, but not be healthy. And I know for sure when I was competing, I probably wasn't the healthiest, because I ate the same thing over and over and over again. And your body needs variety. I ate chicken, egg whites, broccoli, sweet potatoes, brown rice. That was it. Every single day. Oh, egg whites constantly. And peanut butter and shakes. And yeah, what on the outside it looked healthy, but on the inside, my body was like, I need diversity. I need fruits and vegetables. I need other things. So the difference between being full versus being nourished. And what are some foods that could help you feel clear and steady? And that's going to be a personal journey that you have to ask yourself. But of course, there are certain things that you and I both know. But this is going to be a deeper conversation about food. So let's go to key number 1. Cravings are communication, they're not weakness. Cravings can mean you're dehydrated, you don't have enough protein, you don't have enough vitamin A or vitamin D, that you're under-rested, overstimulated, dysregulated, and you're emotionally carrying too much. So instead of saying, what is wrong with me, we should be asking, what is my body asking for? Because cravings are not a character flaw, they are a message. And when we read the message, we stop fighting ourselves and start partnering with ourselves. Which brings me to part 2, food as emotion. Now let's talk about the emotional side, because food can be a lot of things. It could be comfort, reward, distraction, or relief. And sometimes we eat because we're bored. Sometimes we eat because we're grieving, we're lonely, we're anxious, we're overstimulated, and trying to come down from being overstimulated. And that is probably a lot of us. And in a world that moves too fast, that has everything on our phone, from our cell phones to our text message and email and apps and music and watching TV, like everything, we are overstimulated. And food becomes a fast way to downshift. But here's what's sticky about food and tricky. Food doesn't just soothe the emotion, it postpones it. So the emotion comes back, and now we have emotion plus guilt. So I wasn't hungry, I was fill in the blank in that moment. And sometimes a night where silence felt heavy, so you kept snacking. And how stress shows up in our appetite. Which brings me to key number 2. Food can fuel the body or soothe the emotion. And what your body feels in awareness, it gets to decide. So the same meal can be medicine or it can be escape. It depends on your state. So your detox tool is not restriction. Your detox tool is awareness. So can you pause and ask, am I hungry or am I activated or overstimulated? Am I fueling or am I avoiding or suppressing something? Am I eating from choice or am I eating from pressure? And awareness isn't judgment. Awareness is power and it's information. Which brings me to part 3. Relationship over restriction. Detox is not punishment. It's a relationship. And restriction without regulation creates backlash. Because when you're stressed and you try to be perfect, your body will eventually rebel. So the goal isn't to eat perfectly. The goal is to eat honestly. So that means honoring when you're hungry, when you're thirsty, when you're full, when your nervous system says, I've had enough, when you're honoring your season, whatever season you're in, and when you're honoring your triggers and your traumas. And if we keep calling ourselves bad or what we're eating bad, we'll keep eating out of shame. But if we get curious and we interrupt the loop, then that's when we could change and lean into being curious and what's happening so that we can interrupt and break that loop. A lot of people don't need a stricter plan. They need a softer relationship with their body and a stronger boundary with stress. And how does perfectionism show up in wellness? It shows up all the time. The all or nothing cycle, the I'm going to start on Monday cycle, or I'm going to at least work out an hour, or we have these extremes because I know I've had them. And why compassion helps consistency stick, which brings me to key number 3. Consistency heals faster than extremes. Extreme detoxes are loud. Consistency is quiet. Consistency looks like I'm going to have water today and I'm going to do it gradually, right? So sometimes I've heard people say, oh, I'm going to drink a gallon of water, but is that necessary? And can you go from not drinking any water to drinking a gallon? Like, let's try a liter, or let's try a couple of glasses first. And having enough protein daily. And are you protecting getting enough sleep? And are you moving most days? Because most of us live very sedentary lives. And are you reducing how many nights per week you're scrolling on your phone or watching TV or letting the TV watch you or listening to white noise because you need something in the background? And that's a question too you got to ask yourself. Why do you need something constantly stimulating you even when you're asleep? And then fewer I'll start on Monday resets. And more I'll start with this meal grace in that space. Because your body leans and learns from safety through repetition. And once your body feels safe, your cravings can calm down, our decisions can get clearer, and our energy can stabilize. Because consistency in microdoses is how we build trust for ourselves and with ourselves. So this is a practical reset. And here are 4 simple resets you could practice this week. The 10-second pause, number 1. The 10-second pause. Before you eat, pause for 10 seconds and ask, am I hungry or am I activated? Number 2, add before you subtract. Before you remove anything, add water, protein, fiber, and sleep. Water, protein, fiber, and sleep. Because most people aren't undisciplined, they're underfueled. Number 3, the emotion label. If you feel a craving, name the emotion. I'm stressed, I'm lonely, I'm overwhelmed, I'm bored, I'm sad, I'm grieving, I'm angry. And naming it lowers the intensity. Number 4, replace one comfort. Pick one moment this week where you normally soothe with food. And try a new comfort first. Try breath work, try prayer, try meditating, try stretching, a short walk, journaling. Call someone safe, and that's a hard one. I would suggest a therapist because oftentimes people don't need to hear you vomiting on them. And definitely try to remove the comfort food. And what you're doing, you're not removing the comfort, just the comfort food, and we're expanding it. So, our one reflection question to sit with: what emotion am I trying to feed instead of feel? What emotion am I trying to feed instead of feel? FEEL. So before you go, I just want to say thank you from the bottom and top of my heart. It has truly been an honor and a pleasure sharing this time with you. Thank you for continuing to give yourself grace in this space with me today. And I'm so genuinely thankful and happy that you chose to step into this little cozy digital home with me. And before you head out, let's quickly revisit our 3 keys and one reflection question from today's episode. Key number 1, cravings are communication, not weakness. Key number 2, food can fuel the body or soothe the emotion. Your awareness will decide. Key number 3, consistency heals faster than extremes. And our one question to sit with: what emotion am I trying to feed instead of feel? If today's episode offered you clarity, insight, or even a pause for a cause you didn't know you needed, if there's anything that I shared or that pricked your heart or lit a spark, I'd love for you to subscribe and share this with someone you care about. And leave a comment so that this becomes a dialogue and not just a monologue. And please leave a 5-star rating if you feel led. It helps this space to grow and reach others. And before we close, I want to extend a gentle invitation. If you've been listening and reflecting, I would love for you to consider becoming a member of the C3 founding members. It is the Chasers Champion Circle. This is a foundational community for people with like minds and who will eventually help this shape and space and help this space to grow and shape it into what it will become. So thank you for joining me here twice a day for our daily 15-minute microdose for macro living. And also in the description, if you'd like to join the free community, I would love for you to join the free community. And the free community is It's Her Circle. Now let's close with one breath together. We're going to inhale for 3, 2, 1. Exhale for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'll see you tomorrow at 8 a.m. and again at 8 p.m. Central. I am Madison Samone Chase, and this is Cut to the Chase at 8. And you and I are ready, and we are set to go and grow, and let's be clear, and let's be great. Blessings to you and yours. Until tomorrow.